Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Man Alone Solo RPG YouTube channel. I'm Man Alone, and today we're going back into the Forbidden Lands. What's to say about this game that hasn't already been said? What's to say about this game that I haven't already said? Now, if you did watch the video that I made, what would we call it, an unboxing, that was about 7 years too late. I think this game came out in 2018. I did the unboxing a week ago or something, and I got a little bit sidetracked. I admit that I got a little bit sidetracked in the unboxing because I was missing some things that I felt should have been unboxed. And I looked everywhere in the box. I turned the box upside down. I felt around the box to see if maybe it was something that you had to pull out of the, like maybe it was hidden. You had to open it with a razor or something. And I couldn't find it. And so I had determined, and I will say in a somewhat childish manner, that I was not going to complete my review until I was able to recruit the necessary pieces of what I considered to be necessary to play this game, and especially on solo. Now, I don't know if I have all of those pieces, but I think I have enough of them to actually crack this box open and have a little bit of a solo adventure at some point. The goal for me today is not to review the game because I haven't played it. The goal is not to page through it because there's 7 years of videos on that. What I'm really interested in, from a solo perspective, as well as just coming from being a Dragonbane player perspective, what I want to know is, what is it about Forbidden Lands that people love so much? Is there any reason to go to Forbidden Lands when Dragonbane is nearby? I have a feeling I know some of the answers to that. I think some of it just comes down to the lore and the world building. And I also think that Dragonbane is not a year zero system. It's a unique dice rolling system. Well, it's not unique, but I'm saying it has its own dice rolling system that's not year zero. But it and then also the setting and characters of Dragonbane. I think some people, myself included, love that setting, love those characters, and then some people more or less are kind of like, it's not for me. And I think that, there's no accounting for taste. So I've read some of the development backstory on this, which has made me appreciate some of it a bit more. We got as far as to take a look at, just breezed through in my unboxing, the player's handbook and the game master's guide. I had stated at the time, and I was in a bad mood, okay? And when you're in a bad mood, you can't be held responsible for anything. I mean, you know this. In court, sometimes people say, they say, hey, you robbed the bank. And you say, Your Honor, you got to do it respectfully. You say, I was in a bad mood. And the jury gasps, somebody passes out like nobody knew, and then he says, innocent, innocent. And you are now the prosecutor against this court who didn't know you were in a bad mood. But I had basically said that this felt a little bit like an Encyclopedia Britannica set. Okay, I said it. And I'm not wrong. It's faux leather. It's got the gold leaf. And hey, you know what I didn't consider? That prior to the internet, the Encyclopedia Britannica in my house was basically the limited internet. Like, the internet itself now is akin to something like Across 1,000 Dead Worlds, and Encyclopedia Britannica is akin to Four Against Darkness. There's a lot to learn in both, but in one of them you could run out. A little bit of a burn, a little bit of a 4AD burn. Oh no, I'm seeing the stats dropping on viewers. Okay, so just a quick review here. We have the Forbidden Lands. And unique in this game, don't really know how I feel about this. It has this mechanic that legacy games have where you can actually sticker up the map and make it unique to your campaign. And some of these are just generic, and some of them have labels like Eye of the Rose and Stone Garden and Pearl Jam and Nirvana and Alice in Chains. And in addition, something that I definitely slept on that we really need to look at is this here, which for some reason I think my brain just interpreted this as the instruction manual in a new vacuum cleaner that you throw away because all it is the warranty exclusions in 17 different languages. But in actuality, as far as solo play, this might be one of the more important documents that we look at. Interesting regarding the backstory, let me put this aside for a second, is that I liked the inside, which I think toes the line very well between coherent and hypnotizing. There is a level of this sort of game book that's just like black and white, that if there's not enough images, if there's not good formatting, and if the art isn't good, it begins to feel like that copy of Robinson Crusoe you had in your household when you were 10 that your mother tried to read to you before bed, but even she fell asleep before you because it wasn't like updated, you know, it was still written the way it was written, and she had a long day. She works 2 jobs, but it doesn't do that because it just has all of the things I said it does great here. So it has, it is broken up with enough really great art and tables, and it is organized very well such that it does not make you feel like you've been punished and you need to do a book report on it. This here is the Game Master's Guide. The Player's Handbook is surprisingly similar, a little bit more narrow. Yeah, a little bit. I would say it's 3/4. And both of them have a nice tail. We love book tails on this channel. And the art, when I actually stopped to look at it, I realized, wow, this art is really on another level here. Usually black and white line art is what it is, right? But as I started like looking at the pages and looking at this, I said, wow, this is really, really good stuff. And what I didn't know, and what made me curious, was this Niels Gulliksen. Essentially, this was made for a freely like kickstarted an art book, I think, by Niels, or maybe it was Nicholas Brandt. I don't know if I'm making an error. Let me know in the comments. But it was this art book that they kickstarted 2015, 16, and then they took that whole thing of art and brought it to the writer, which I think is Christian Granath, and plopped the art down and said, here you go, make a game out of this. It was just art. And so I think the writers and everybody made something really cool here with this. And the lore, I really do think, is the first piece of this that is quite special. It's definitely more serious than Dragonbane. The stakes feel higher, and even the opening setting of it in Ravenland, and just this idea that there was a blood mist across the land that basically eviscerated anybody that went out in it, and that they found out too late that the thing that stopped you from getting killed by it was like zealotry, like how much you believed that it couldn't hurt you because it preyed on fear, and that this stuff existed because there was some sort of deal with the devil where they invited in these demons. It's classic Gollum story, right? They invited in the demons to fight some other battle, and then they became, they let too much of that evil power in, and it began to corrupt the land. Humans are the newest ones on the scene, and people don't get along. This is quite different than Dragonbane in terms of, or especially 5e, or it's not quite Merkborg, but there's some tension here in these lands, and in that way, I do think that it is a good form follows function in terms of mechanics and everything, that it is a customizable map because it's a new place. It's not it's a place trying to find its footing. It's a place that can move and shift around as different factions take new areas, and new conflicts arise, and treaties are made and settled and stuff like that. And so from that standpoint, I think it's good that it's sort of a living map that is a hex map. And I bet on a long enough campaign, that's a real treat, is seeing that map come together. As far as the mechanics, I don't... when there's any year zero game, the first thing I go in and look at is like, what's the penalty for pushing? Is it regular dice or step dice? How many dice do you need? What sort of, which of the 3 basic year zero engine archetype dice are there? So usually base dice, skill dice, and then gear or weapon dice. So this one does use, I believe, step dice, and does use, maybe not step dice, but it uses more than the D6. But I was not able to figure that out because there was no dice in the starter set. And I must say, I get it, and I read all the comments, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate that you say that I don't need to use the dice. But for many people, and if you're not this way, you're not going to understand, and that's okay. We just have to not understand each other. That's part of the experience for me. It is part of the experience because it scratches the collector's itch. I like the idea of having the accoutrement for each game. All right, I bought this statue to play Pendragon. I don't need this. Nobody needs this. Although everybody should have it because his back is magnetic. Not going to get into it again. But I was a bit miffed. And I also felt that it was a bit cheap. A box set says to me, crack this sucker open, pull your friends around, and let's play. And while the true level of content is to be found in the words, like anybody knows that who's not a child, it made me scratch my head a bit to say the one of the most basic components needed to play the game is not there. I mean, if you look at the Pendragon starter set, the dice that it had, they were, it probably cost them 10 cents to print it out. I mean, it's very basic dice. I mean, really basic. It's nice. It's got like the marbling in there, and it has 6d6 and 1d20. I think that's the one. And it came in like a little package, like a little crumbly plastic package. And I was like, great. At least these are there. It has a special feeling for me when I open up stuff and I get to pull out a lot of ingredients. And I'll tell you this, and this is childish, but I don't like opening. One of the things that's fun about a box set is not everything is a flat sheet of paper or thing that is flat covers made out of paper. I like opening and getting there. There is that feeling that you can't indulge in too much as an adult of like opening a toy box. And so it didn't have that, but then again, it is quite more of a mature game. And as I was paging through it and looking at the basic setup, I saw dice not included, and I said, okay, I'll get the dice. So I did get some dice. Now this may not be enough because from what I've heard, you probably need 2 of these dice sets. Although I don't know if that applies to solo play. We'll see. And I've kind of held back on this until I had everything together because I wanted to have it all at once. And then the cards, which again, people say, you don't need the cards. I don't know anybody who uses the cards. Fine, I get it. I want the cards. And the cards are in the Twilight 2000 box set. They're in the Dragonbane box set. I'm trying to think of what else do you get the cards with from the get in Free League. Electric State doesn't have a box set. Vaesen has cards, but I don't think there's a Vaesen box set. I think they just have the core. Symbaroum has dice. I don't know how you get those. Alien and Blade Runner, I believe, both have dice. So anyways, I'm sorry, the cards. And, it is also something that people said is, nobody uses the advanced combat moves on those. But as a solo player, I need the stuff. I need these tools because all of this is not only like my collection of it, but things like cards, and me being a certified card boy, I took the oath. I'm not only playing to, when I'm soloing, I'm not only looking to figure out the best management of the rules in a solo format, I'm also trying to manage my mental bandwidth and my organization. And very often the organization and how I access information, if I have more of a chance to make that a specific way of accessing that information, if I can say, the trigger for this moment is to flip a card, that allows me to conform it more to my preference. It's going to make the solo play more enjoyable for whatever reason. For whatever reason. For whatever reason, sometimes I like drawing a card more than I like looking on a table. For whatever reason, I don't know why. But if I like it, I like it. And we're all in this for stuff that we like, right? And I actually do think just looking at some of these cards or some of the references to the cards, there may be more from a solo perspective that can be drawn from these than just saying the combat stances and initiative. And then, of course, the final piece, which I was very prepared to purchase all along, was the Book of Beasts. And the Book of Beasts does have the Free League solo rules. Here's what's wild, I'll tell you, is that, first of all, in the United States, I think I bought the last deck alive. I had to set up alerts on like Google Shopping to find this. The other options were getting it from Europe or the UK at exorbitant shipping prices. I ended up spending. What's fun is occasionally you'll have a store that doesn't really specialize in tabletop, and then they'll be like, "Oh, we found these. They're pretty old, 2018. Okay, well, they were for $20. Let's try to sell them for $20." And that's pretty much what happened here. I don't even remember the site because it was the only one left on there. But I got them. I'm happy about that. Whatever you think about that, you follow your bliss. And there's plenty of, I'm sure, comment tyrants that like to say, no, the way that I prefer to play a game is the only reasonable way to play it. And to you, I say, good morning. I bet you thought I was going to say something else, but no. How are you? Good morning. How are things? Okay, so I want to open these up, but I also just really quick want to talk about one more piece of this puzzle that I'm going to bring up on the screen here. Well, I'll just leave it to when I bring it up. All right, so this is the Forbidden Lands solo expansion, and this is by Matt K. Now, Matt K wrote the solo rules. I'm almost certain. I'll have to open it to make sure, but as I understand it, well, yeah, I doubt that he's like lying here. If you look in the introduction, he wrote the solo rules, but there were some pretty stringent rules on how much space in this Book of Beasts were allowed to be occupied by the solo rules. He said he had a lot of ideas that were unrealized, and so released this beta form of those rules on DriveThruRPG, and you can pick them up right now for $3.99. And he said that they're in beta, and so eventually they'll be $5, but it's a reduced price because they need play testing. Unfortunately, and I just looked again to make sure of this. The version 0.6 that we see here was released in December of 2023, and there's been nothing on it since then. It's not advertised on his site. I don't know if it ever was, but like, for instance, he made Year Zero Mini and Year Zero Nano. Those are still up there, but the Forbidden Lands one is not. And so I'm not certain if he's still working on it. I'm curious. I just did sign up for his newsletter. I didn't realize that there was one, but looking at the Three Skulls Tavern YouTube channel, there hasn't been a video for 6 months. And so I don't know. I don't follow. I'll look after the video is done to see if there's any sort of project that whatever, but these things happen. I could tell you that in anything, it's not even with tabletop development. Like when you're just looking at something for so long, it gets to a point where it's hard. It's hard to like bring it home. But the unfortunate thing is a lot of the stuff that he said he was working on sounds like it was really cool, adventure sites and everything like that. I guess I could jump the gun here and talk about this because this video. So some of you might already know that earlier this month, the beginning of the month, we released the Called to the Green solo supplement on DriveThruRPG, link down below. And we have had enormous success that includes myself with illustrations by John's Worlds, co-writing and editing by Droidic Habit. And the PDF has been out there. That is a solo supplement that does have waypoints. And if you've heard this before, don't fast forward. It's not just another like reminder. It's been, I don't know anything about publishing, so it's been quite tough to even get it out there. So I'm very happy to have had the help that I did. And then there was this other thing of saying, will I be able to get a print version of it on DriveThru? That process takes a long time comparatively. Like you have to, for me, figure out how to do it. You have to get the formatting just right. You have to order a proof. You have to look at the proof. You have to approve the proof. So just so everyone knows, though, so I'm kind of doing this in the middle of the video here because I don't know what happens from here. But I did receive the proof, and it looks really, really nice. And I did approve it. There are some minor errata in here. I caught a lot of it, thankfully, before I sent this off. But there'll be a couple things that I can just release, much like, honestly, Forbidden Lands here. This, I think, is on the 4th edition. They have quite a bit of just little things in the front. to say, every time I say the word errata, it sounds like I'm like erotic. So yeah, this is the second edition, and here's like these little listings right there that those things come up. But I think the page numbers, like apparently odd pages should be on the left in terms of the numbering. Like it's not like the pages are backwards or anything, but it looks overall fantastic. I'm really pleased how nice it was. And so I did approve it today, or I guess at this point yesterday. And so they said it was going to take 3 days. Don't know if that means 3 days, 3 business days, but as soon as it is available, the print copy with the PDF will be available on DriveThruRPG. And if you're interested in Forbidden Lands, perhaps you're also interested in Dragonbane, you could pick up the PDF, or if you want to wait a little bit, we will have the printable copy available as well. Okay. I told myself not to say anything because I'm like, what if I make it public and then there's some error and it's not right? But whatever. Let's just go. Let's do this. Let's do this whole like living thing. Let's be alive and living and take risks. Bookmark that what I said right there, when in 4 days I'm like, I've made a horrible mistake. I'm being sued. Anyways, so this supplement as it is, I don't know if it'll ever go further than this, but it is around 20 pages, and it adds additional aspects to the solo offerings, new professions, new paths. Have the explorer, the scout, and then it also has more, I guess, built out adventure generation, journeying, and hunting, and an alternate weather table, expanded encounters, solo-friendly sites. This is really nice. And it also includes a card drawing system. This is actually playing cards, though, so it can't really be that booyah moment that I want. And strongholds. So there's apparently a castles and strongholds supplement as well. Strongholds is another thing that Dragonbane does not have yet, which I think would be a really nice addition. And Castles and Strongholds, yeah, it looks like it's a $2 PDF, 24 pages by Zyphos Game Studio, and it was released in November of 22 and last updated July 12th, 2024. So pretty cool. Let's while I'm here, I'm just gonna look, because what if they approve my thing right as I'm doing this video? Oh, that'd be so awesome. 1 second. You'll never believe it. They didn't. Okay, moving on. Hirelings, monster attacks, solo combat. This is a good deal of stuff here. NPC courage. NPCs don't have coup de grace. Initiative draws. Expanded advanced close combat. So yeah, future plans, solo worksheets. I'm not seeing those. Excel tables for virtual tabletop. So if I get into this, which right now what that would require is for me to get, I have rotating obsessions. For those that have followed the channel for a while, they probably know this by now, is like I'll get extremely fixated on something, and then I'll wax and wane. Luckily, I don't abandon things completely, except the can of peas. We'll not talk about the can of peas, but for instance, the Dragonbane solo supplement, it was like a year that it finally took me to get it all out there. And there were periods where I was like working on it every night till 3 a.m. and then periods where I couldn't even look at it. And so right now I'm on the Pendragon Obsessional track. And that's why I made the minimum requirement that I'm going to make one video of that a month. Because if I didn't do that, there would be times where it would go like 2 or 3 months. But if there's something that I can find to connect here in Forbidden Lands, and it's really weird what sparks this connection for me. It's really weird. I'll see some weird mechanic. I'll see some unique thing that all of a sudden I go, oh, I didn't know it had that. So let's actually open up these cards where let's see if I can if I will eat crow or if others will eat crow. What if I just slice through this entire deck right now and the next 20 minutes of the video is just me like whimpering. It took me forever. I have to say right up front, I don't think this will be the thing that hooks me, but I really love any time that there's like a mini-me version of something, and this deck, it is actually like not top loading. It's like it's the same thing as the box. We're gonna pause because we're about to have an avalanche of stuff on the side table. There was an avalanche. No one is harmed. Force Majeure, the original version. Look up that movie. Force Majeure, great movie of an avalanche and the implications for one couple's marriage. The modern version's not as good. I think Will Ferrell's in the I don't know. See what I'm talking about? It's like the baby version of the box. Okay, so just so we see what's on the back, this is 55 high-quality cards designed for Forbidden Lands. The beautifully illustrated cards describe magical artifacts, mounts, and actions in combat. Card supplements play and enhance your experience. 22 artifacts, 8 mounts, 14 combat, 10 initiative, and a reference card. So it looks like the reference card is right on the back. I really like that there's illustrations. And I know there's also additional decks that come. There's 3 adventure supplements. Not sure. Ugh, I can never find this thing, whether it's like in a pack of gum. There we go. All right. So, this box contains several playing cards, initiative, combat, mount, variety of horses, and artifacts. These artifacts are described in greater detail in the Game Master's Guide or in the Raven's Purge campaign book. So these are like really... Actually, I don't want to... I want these to be surprises for when I do play. I don't like seeing all like the super special weapons and stuff. But yeah, really nice. I was just talking today about how I have the cards for Symbaroum, and there's just... Now, again, avowed card boy, but there's some cards that they try to fit too much on the cards. And let me actually say one of the things, like, I know this is going to be good. The Alien Sanctuary. I'm all over the place in this video. Oh, I'm going to get mean comments. Toby Lancaster is this is who did 2D6 Dungeon, and like a really improved on the art. I think. I wonder if this is no longer AI art, but I like that. That made it feel less condensed, but it's just like too much on these cards. And so there's a nice middle ground here. A little bit of art, a little bit of info, a little bit of country, a little bit of rock and roll, a little bit of bone jaw. Wait, you don't ride a wolf to work? Gray cat, Suncrest, Jagarda. Oh, look at that one. Grudler. That would be my mount for sure. Grudler. Oh my gosh, I love Grudler. I need to put Grudler here just so I could look at Grudler when I get blue. Good mounts. Nice mounts. Oh, good. There's like descriptions for the mounts. And initiative cards. this is the same as in Dragonbane, as well as I think Twilight 2000, of the shuffling and passing out. Now, interestingly, oh, good. Yeah, so this actually has on the outside, in Dragonbane, you turn your initiative card sideways, but this one actually has more options to indicate whether you use your fast action, slow action, no action, or both actions, which I really like. Okay. And then apparently nobody uses close combat, or I'm sorry, advanced combat, as it were. Which is probably true, and I probably wouldn't use it. Attack, defend, prepare, hinder, maneuver, await, double up. Oh my gosh, I thought his knees were like little feet. Doesn't it look like little feet? Okay. Attack, defend, prepare, hinder. So these are just 2 copies of that. Okay. Nice cards. Love a good card, friends. All right, so I will say that one of the things that I was hoping for with the cards was, number one, since there was 55 of them, shouts out Mr. 55, those who follow the pod, I was thinking maybe they would have thrown like suits and numbers on them just because. All right, Grudler, we got to go back in. Come on. I know, you're such a good boy. That wasn't there. And then there was also some reference to the fact that some of the cards were used for like experience points or something, but maybe I misread that and misunderstood it. So anyways, not bad. The dice, I'm going to try to open this a little bit more. Like I've destroyed too many a dice box in my day. And oh, I don't know if I ever completed this thought earlier, but what's wild is the Book of Beasts with the solo rules. You can get that on Amazon for $31, and you can get these for $24. You can get a hardcover faux leather-bound book for $31, or you can get these dice for $24. They are unique. I don't think this is going to be step dice. Oh, this is not enough. This is not enough. Okay, so what I'm thinking here, and I don't know which one is which, but so this will use gear dice, skill dice, and base dice, but I don't know if this will even be enough when your stats go up. And then there's going to be something here that I can get some upgrades here, because it's a D8, D10, and a D12, which is going to probably give me more likelihood to get a success, because a success is 6 or more. And then I could probably tell which ones are the gear. Well, this is probably skill, because skills usually don't have anything on them in year 0 games, whereas base dice do on the ones. I'm talking about on the ones. But these are both the same design on both of the ones, so I'm not sure. So we can figure that out. All right. Not bad. Okay, so I think probably the player's handbook is going to be the most likely candidate to just show us how the dice. Yeah, this one has a lot of errata. So much like Dragonbane, we have kin, profession, but then there's this path system that I hear about, and I think that paths are distinctive. And I see 3 paths for, I think every... no, that was only, I guess, in the solo one. So that's what the character sheet's going to look like. And I just wanted to find 42. Oh, there's a reputation that you use as a mechanic when you encounter people. And yes, okay. So there's a set of beautifully engraved custom dice available for Forbidden Lands, sold separately. The symbol sword, shing, engraved directly onto these dice. Every dice set contains 9 d6s, 4 of which are base dice, white, 3 skill dice, maroon, and 2 weapon dice. So not gear dice, weapon dice, as well as 1 d8, 1 d10, and 1 d12. More on how these are used later in the chapter. So how are we going to remember this? Base dice are white. They have the least amount of color, so they are base. Skill dice are maroon. And these are like black is weapon dice. So we can think of a blacksmith makes these. Okay. If you don't have the skill required for the particular action you want to perform, you can roll anyways. Simply roll your base and any applicable gear dice. So not like Mutineer Zero, where you have to have the skill. No, is that right? Oh, is Coriolis where you have to have one of those. You have to have something in that skill to roll on them. And then in the other one, you could not roll. Oh, it was advanced skills in Coriolis. You could not roll on them if you didn't have at least 1 point in them. If you roll no 6s, something goes wrong. For some reason, you fail to achieve your goal. Feel free to elaborate why. They might even have worse outcomes. The skills, 16 of them, each of them tied to an attribute: might, strength, endurance, strength. So strength, agility, wits, empathy, the usual suspects. Might, endurance, melee, crafting, stealth, sleight of hand, move, marksmanship, scouting, lore, survival, insight, manipulation, performance, healing, animal handling. I will tell you, one of the things that is a little bit weird to me, and this happens in a lot of Year Zero games, is that there is not a clear skill for something I believe happens all the time, which there should be a skill that says observe or observation. And then you also use the skill manipulate when you are doing anything of which you are trying to be convincing of something. And I don't know if that's like a Swedish translation thing, but manipulation, there's 2 things that seem right about manipulation. One of them is you're trying to lie or trick somebody, or you're like a chiropractor manipulating someone's C6. And so I wish there was something like persuade, but it gets a little bit of getting used to, but they're pretty consistent. There might be some skills that, well, there are some skills that are unique to the games. Pushing and roll. If you're desperate to succeed, you can choose to push. That means you grab all the dice that did not come up as a 6 or a 1 and roll them again. You cannot choose which dice to re-roll. Interesting. Okay, why would you ever be like, no, I don't want to roll that one. Don't roll too often. You don't usually see this. The dice roll is dramatic. Pushing rolls can give you damage, but also willpower points. Rolling dice too often slows the game down and can generate an excess of willpower points. Thus, you should only roll dice when absolutely necessary. You are allowed to push rolls even after a successful roll. That's if you want to get additional, I don't know what they call them here in Mutineer Zero. It's stunts. And I'm just thinking of that right now because that's what I'm GMing. You are allowed to push rolls even after successful, but only if rolling additional 6s will increase the effect. GM has final say. Pushing a roll is not without risk. More on that below. When you push a roll, 1s from the skill dice do not count as a skull and can be re-rolled even if they do not come up as a 1. When you push a roll, 1s from the skill dice do not write. And we know that because we have this extremely expensive official set of dice where this is the only one where the 1s are not skulls. Gear dice, if you push your roll, you must also push weapon or gear dice. You can only push your roll once. If you don't succeed, you just have to deal with it. When you push yourself hard, there's a risk that you will suffer damage or exhaustion, or that your weapon will be destroyed. After you push your roll, look at all the dice. In the first roll, the ones have no effect. Yep, classic year zero. Classic year zero. But when you push, they become active. It doesn't matter if the skulls came up in the first roll or second. For every skull or one that you have rolled on base dice, you suffer 1 point of damage to the attribute that you've used. So now I'm wondering if if this is like MYZ, where your lowered attributes actually lower your dice rolls and you sort of take damage to them. And then for every one you push, roll on a weapon die push, your weapon's bonus is decreased. So I think it is. Okay. Group rolls. Willpower. To push yourself to the brink of your abilities is risky, but can also have positive effects. It gives you the force of will required to use the powerful kin talents and profession. So this is definitely... Now this is, other than the presence of these, this is Mutineer Zero. Because in Mutineer Zero, when you push, it's a weird combination of risk and reward. You push, you could get better rolls. You can also do damage to gear or your attribute that you use to push. But whenever you push, you get mutation points, which you use as like the MP to spend and do these mutation talents. And so here, that is willpower that is taking the place of that. This makes me really wish that they just use year zero on everything. I'd be so curious to see a year zero permutation of Dragonbane. But the more I think about it, and I had this realization when I was at my friendly local game store the other day, is that they have all the Free League books together except for Dragonbane. They put that in the section with like 5e and Pathfinder, because I really do think that's Free League's attempt. And maybe at one point it was Symbaroum, but Ruins of Symbaroum is a separate 5e system, because I think that the base of Symbaroum was not reminiscent of 5e enough. And so I wonder if they just didn't get enough traction with that first attempt. Because don't get me wrong, Dragonbane is, to me, way preferable mechanics-wise than to 5e. I mean, I love Dragonbane. I just always wonder like what a year zero permutation of it would look like. And maybe this is it. Maybe this is it right here. Maybe we'll find out. So I guess, these are artifact die. Okay, so this is not a Mutineer Zero. Usually gear only adds extra D6 to your roll. However, there are master-crafted artifacts and magic items that add an extra D8, D10, or D12 in addition to the normal gear. Artifact dice are never degraded by wear. Rare items of this kind are described in the GM guide. If they're mighty, you get a D8. Epic D10, legendary D12. When you roll an artifact die, any result of 6 or higher counts as a hit. Really high results count as several hits. Okay, so this is where we're cooking with these artifact die. That's pretty cool. So, you know, with the step die system, what this is we're still working off of, and this is a little bit of for those of you who have played like Twilight 2000, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a little bit of an in-between step dice thing here, because usually the gimmick with the step dice is, yeah, you have these dice, they have more chances for successes, because on this dice, only the 6 gives you a success, whereas here you have the 6, 7, and 8. Here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But additionally here, we're getting extra successes. So if I roll, say I have a 2 in my strength, or what is it, might? No, yeah, well, say I'm rolling might, and so I have 2 might, 2 strength, and I'm holding a legendary sword, and I get the D12 there. I mean, I don't know. This is the chances of this is very high. Yeah, so I got a 9 here. I got a 6, and anything else doesn't, like the ones don't count on the first roll unless I haven't seen that yet. But then in addition, because I have the D12 and I rolled a 9, I'm getting 2 successes from that. So this is actually 3 successes altogether. I like that. I dig that. And I am fully understanding that. Okay, welcome back. I can't really describe to you how upsetting it is to just, everything went off. Everything. I kicked the power strip out. Where was I? Who knows? Maybe this is a good moment to reevaluate what I was even doing in this video, because here I was, I think I was teaching about skills and stuff like that. Instead, I'm just looking for what is the je ne sais quoi about this game. So talents, I like this. Kin talents. Talents, what is it? Kin talents. Druids, rogues. So it's like kin and profession, I guess. Riding animals is different. I like that. Weapon systems look cool. Let me just get an idea here. So, yeah, the bonuses are either +1 or +2. That's normal. Okay. And I wanted to take a look at the Legends and Adventurers guide, which I think, as I stated at the beginning of the video, I think that's where a lot of the juice of this comes in, because that is a system for creating a character. Now, I don't have a sheet, and BB is asleep near the printer, so we're not going to be able to fully roll one up, but I kind of want to, God, like, can't get the box open. So let's keep this on hand, and we'll open up the Book of Beasts. I've had this on PDF, so I know a little bit of what's inside. I've had it on PDF actually for a while. Again, I do really like the uniformity here. It has grown on me. I think another thing about the box set, I guess, is like, I kind of want, this is something where I want the books on my shelf more than I think I want the box set, although it is a nice box. So yeah, this is Solo Rules. Let me zoom in a bit. Right here, 165 to 178. So that's a decent chunk of Solo Rules. Now the Bestiary is, I'm surprised. Now let me just say something. Other than campaign books that I can't use at all because I'm mostly a solo player, the other thing that here's another thing about campaign books. I don't really even like them, because mostly when I'm a GM, I'm starting out the way that the book recommends, and I'm going in a completely different direction. I can't imagine as a GM going along with a campaign book. I've never done it in 4.5 years. It would seem to me to be a more difficult task than just improvising it on the fly. Everybody's different, but for me to remember all that stuff, so I'll usually go to them to bring me back on track. But the only other thing that doesn't get me very excited is bestiaries. I think one of the things that lights up my life here, that's waiting to happen, is, and if you remember, I was talking, if you watch the 4AD video, something like this in 4AD could be just a game changer, right? Because you have these archetypes. Look at this. You're putting together, this is a grazing cattle that has tentacles and a beak and a tail. And then in addition to how it looks, it's also has different movements and a home and skills and traits, weaknesses, motivations, attacks. And then like I can, if you give me the type of attack it is and the stats on it, believe it or not, I can come up with even more that's on here. I can come up with all different manners of things. I can say that it's an interdimensional cuboid attack, right? I just need the basic trappings of it. Anyways, this is the most unfocused video I've ever done in my life. So this is a lot of bestiary. And it's looking, we have all of this. It has some random encounters. Okay, here we go. So this is pretty nice. Got traps, books, ballads, grimoires, journeys, rules for strongholds. Love that. Potions and poisons and artifacts. Then the monsters, D6, D6. I love this right up front. Divided. Ah, look at this. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And really, I had no idea because all I saw was the J or the B section of Encyclopedia Britannica. Look at that. My Lord. Lore roll. Roll a 2. Amoebas are difficult to harm with ordinary weapons, but are terrified of fire. So cool. This might be like, this is making me disagree with what I said about bestiaries. I feel like this is the easiest to, I love this. This is it. Boom. Give me some tables. Let me know what it's all about. Tell me the terrain. Give me some attacks. Done. Move on. I'll take it from here. Thank you very much. Great. Looks great. I'm curious to see the, a couple random encounters, some awesome pictures, really unique interpretations of these things. I mean, look at this vampire. Look at that. Okay, random encounters. Wow. Wow. Look at this. So if I'm in the mountains, I'm only going to have a random encounter. How does this work here? Okay, time passes without any significant encounter. I see. Cool. Okay, so a 0 here is no encounter. But everything else, you're actually... Oh, I might steal this. I mean, not the words, but the idea of it. I love this. Super cool. Traps, books, ballads, grimoires, all in tables. Oh no, I'm kind of feeling something here, folks. Don't worry, don't worry. I didn't read 6 hours of the history of Logres, the geopolitics of 5th century Britannia for nothing today, but I am feeling something here. Solo rules. So we have some companions. Playing with 2 PCs can water down the experience, so instead of having 2 PCs, try to focus on one, your main PC, and give the companion more of a supporting role. Wow, I wish I had read this before I made my Dragonbane supplement. Although I would be curious to check out the similarities and differences. Motivations, companion professions, really cool, talents, animal companions. If you'd like an animal companion and want it to act independently, you must take the hunter's path of the beast talent. Otherwise, your animal companion gives you a help die in relevant circumstances. Journeying for 1. Okay, this is what I had seen. Each quarter day, follow the procedure. Shuffle the... Okay, so it's not the... this deck, by the way. I don't know if you've met Grudler. It's not this deck. It's just a playing card deck. And then you'll shuffle it. You'll use the XP question prompts to earn XP from the previous day. Roll D6 3 times for weather. And then this is general encounters based on cards. Oh, no. I'm kind of really liking this. Damn it. Okay, well... Maybe I'll try to play a solo session of this and see how it goes. Wilderness Oracle. That's really nice. This is a really good solo supplement. Damn. I'm in trouble, folks. Here's a Traits Oracle. General Encounters. There's just tons of factions. Map exploration. Obviously the yes, no. Helpful or hazardous. Themes, wilderness, kin names, traits, combat. Let's see. Advanced combat rules can work very well in solo play. To use them, aha. You hear that? People saying you don't use them. Maybe you don't use them in group play. To use them, randomly place 2 cards for your opponent face down. If the opponent's first card drawn is double up, move it to the second position and use the other card. Yeah. This is great. In fact, this is something I was thinking about for Pendragon. Is we use like these basic combat steps and we put them face down and then we flip them. We can even do 6 of these and go through each round of combat with what they're going to be doing predetermined by cards going down. Oh, maybe I could just do it with playing cards for Pendragon. And then you have the initiative cards. You can do group. You could have time for your companion. And you can loot fallen enemies, social interactions, role-playing in villages. Please be sure to use all the village creation tables in the Game Master's Guide. Here are some examples of questions you could ask the oracles to kids. I really like it. Oh. I was certain this wasn't going to happen. I was certain that I was not going to feel anything here. But it's, I mean, this is pressing a lot of the right buttons here, folks. I mean, you got this thing that I can constantly be using to drum up NPCs in my player. There's so many different options. It's anticipating all the right questions. Look at this thing. Look at how cool this is. The legend generator. You roll on this, and all right, so let me just put it to work here. So this is a D66. I did look at this before I even started filming. I really like it. So 31. During the Alder Wars, which was 305 to 360, I'm like crafting a legend here. There was a 61 cunning 35 priest who sought 62 an artifact 51 because of war and traveled to 41 a village located 24. Oh, I should have just been one here. There's also close by a day's march away, a few days off in a 21 marshlands in the direction of 52.5 south. As the legend goes, that it says that he or she died in battle 56, and that at that location there is the remains of an important person. It would be that priest, but also 65 manic Mondays, 43 iron guards. And then it says roll on the monsters table on page 74 in the Game Master's Guide. Roll a d6. 1 to 4 is 1 demon, 5 demons, 6 demons. So customizing that encounter. And then we can generate monsters. Damn. All right. Well, that's it for this video. I am looking forward to, I don't know when I'm going to do it, but we'll do a one-shot. We'll try to do a little solo play of this either in December or early in the new year. What have I done? Why do I do it to myself? Why couldn't I have just left it in the box? Now I'm definitely going to need some more dice. Send donations. I'm not going to make rent this month. I need some help. Please send waffles. Thank you, everybody. And from all of us here at Man Alone Enterprises, to you and yours, good night and good luck. Oh my gosh, I did not update it. No, we are not doing it this time. No, I'm going to update that and do it again. Okay. So now here are the members as of November 23rd, 2024. And thank you. Welcome to all new members. I'm so thrilled that you are here. Please enjoy this custom high-tech outro. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes the names, like like a square root sign in there. I've never been able to figure that out, but it kind of looks cool.